Where'd this come from?
So as everybody else is charged upstairs, Ephraim is holding Hilga and shouts at Jeeves, "Jeeves, clear the table!" And the portly man just takes an arm and shoves everything off of it in a fell swoop. Like, it didn't matter what was on it. Just like one of those classic, like, table clearing sweeps. And Ephraim gently sets Hilga on there and just gently, like, rubs her head real quick and says, "We'll take care of it. I just need you to stay calm for me, okay? Can you do that for me?" And her eyes are wide, and she's kind of looking around. She has no idea where she is, and she nods. The rest of you, if you want to take an opportunity to kind of see where you are, it looks a lot like the last workshop you were in, except brightly lit. There's crap everywhere. There's a whole wall that's lined with different parts and pieces and things that you can manipulate. And with a flourish, he only has 2 workbenches in the middle of the floor. It's definitely not as big as the last workshop, but with a flourish, he kicks the floor twice, and a board pops up. He promptly lifts it up and pulls a whole set of bottles out of it that shimmer everything from a milky white to the pitchiest of blacks to a swirling green and purple concoction. And promptly puts it on the other workbench and starts lighting fires, starts grabbing, starts just running around the room like a madman. And he's shouting at Jeeves the whole time. "Jeeves, I need the newts, I need the newt extract, I need the honey pot sickle, I need the white pear, yes, the white pear extract as well." And Jeeves, they're both going around like wasps on a hive, just beating on things. Random, small doors are opening everywhere, and they're pulling out vials and powders and all of these things. And eventually, they both kind of like run back with arms filled with stuff and just dump it all on the workbench. Estbern, you know exactly what's happening. The rest of you, you have no idea what's happening. There is no magic that you know of that works like this. And all of a sudden, with the powder, Ephraim takes a small dose of powder and throws it on the fire, and it absolutely shoots up and rages for a moment in this blue ethereal light before it shimmers back down to a small blue flame. And starts takes one of the bottles, puts it on, and just starts throwing stuff in it. You have no idea what he's doing. But it's only a few minutes of really terse manipulation and short conversation between Ephraim and Jeeves before he walks back around with a bottle that is sparkling with a dull red. Gently pours it onto a small rag and places it on her throat. And you just feel like you can feel the hiss of pain without actually hearing it as her whole body arcs off of the workbench. And he gently takes but when she settles down, he gently takes the flask and starts tipping it up toward her mouth. Anybody? No reactions?
I think Samael's probably just patiently watching and waiting to see what happens.
Estbern gives the thumbs up.
He's kind of trusting in Estbern here.
Estella?
She's gonna be looking around, kind of like getting out of the way.
Okay.
And probably like looking around at the books and stuff that is all around the lab, possibly.
Okay. And with that, Ephraim gently tilts the whatever it is in his hands down her throat, and she just starts coughing. And for a brief moment, it's just the action of the cough. There is no actual sound behind it, but slowly but surely you feel like something is forcing its way out of her throat until she finally just starts hacking, leans over the side, and just vomits this black ichor out of her mouth. And just starts wailing at the top of her lungs.
Oh, so she's speaking now. Goodness.
Oh, she's wailing. She's crying, like, straight up. And this black sticky ichor is now on the floor. Man, no reactions? Wow.
Wait, it's
I mean,
like like black, like.
Yeah, she
Is it
just
like tar?
vomited blackness.
Oh my god.
Like tar onto the floor.
Alright, yeah, might as well try it. Let's see if it's evil.
Let's see. It just stays still. It's not like lingering or crawling toward nobody or nothing. It's just black, like black vomit.
Uncle, what the hell is that?
She's basically expelling whatever touched her, and removing its presence from her body. Now, shush! I am trying to work. You feel about 10 inches tall.
I put my backpack down and put him like in a far, safe away corner, which has the little, like the hand, and I'm gonna carefully walk away from it. Actually, I'm gonna set it down. I'm gonna pick it up, set it down, cover it up, put it away in like a shelf or something until until we're ready to look at it. Just kind of like come back to the group.
All right. And Jeeves quickly runs up with a pitcher of water, picks up rummages through the papers on the other workbench, and finally pulls a blue stone out of it, blows on it gently, and then tosses it in the pitcher. And you can actually see condensation almost instantly form on the outside of this metal pitcher. And you realize that the water has turned like ice cold. He pours it onto another rag and places it on Hilga's head. And they're both gently trying to shush her down, like, it's okay, you'll be fine now. You know, this poultice will help. You know, you just need to relax and let it work. You know, we've gotten all of the stuff that was affecting your voice out of your system. You just need to relax. And she's crying, she's flailing, and eventually she starts calming down.
Does it look like? Sorry to interrupt. Does it look
okay.
like her wounds around her neck are improving too?
There's still a bandage over it. Basically, the poultice was they splashed something on a bandage and put it over her throat. So it hasn't removed yet.
Okay.
I think Samael would look at the uncle and say, so she'll be okay now, right?
God's willing. God's willing. So, in this rush around, my humblest apologies. We have a very strict no-death policy in my household, so forgive my rudeness for not introducing myself. I'm Ephraim. I am Estbern's uncle, one who helped him through his artisan years. Forgive me, but I know none of you. I would appreciate introductions for such sudden entrances.
I will step up. It's a pleasure to meet you. My name is Estella. And I gesture again to the hand so that people can focus on it. That's what caused that, okay? I've said it before and I'll say it again.
Interesting. And he kind of wanders over and kneels down and starts, kind of reaching up with a small metal, scalpel and poking at it. We'll definitely take a look at this for sure, if that was the cause of it. I've seen nothing like it. Luckily, we could find the way to draw it out before it took root too deeply. Sir Tiefling, you wear, I risk to say, outdated clothing. You seem very, very interested. Man of great interest.
I am Samael, and my clothing is appropriate.
Indeed. One does not wear clothing that is not appropriate to who he is, which makes you far more interesting. Because this happens to be the Immortals' crest, correct?
That is correct, yes.
Interesting. I must speak with more with you later. And Estbern, my prodigal son, how dare you not write? How dare you? I have missed you for months, and not a word edgewise ever since your guild training.
I'm sorry,
And this is what you bring me? I love it. Thank you. It was an immense challenge.
Oh my god. I'm just
Well
going
done.
face palm at that.
Arrogant as always, Uncle. I guess we share that trait sometimes.
Very few artists don't, my lad. If
That's
you hadn't
true.
have brought her here, then most likely she would have lost her voice. And who is this? Who is this absolute flower of a gem that you've brought me? Since she can't quite speak yet herself. And he kind of looks down at her. Again, a kind smile, not creepy in any way, just glad I could help kind of smile.
Her name's Hilga.
Hilga.
She
wears
accompanied us. Yes, she's one of the city guards, or one of the. I'm sorry, not guards. What are they? Mercs?
The re-entrants. The regents.
I'm sorry?
The
The regents.
Hillcrest regents.
Right. She's one of the Hillcrest regents. The guildmaster had actually tasked us, and he gestures to the other two, and then like points downstairs. Had tasked us with investigating Falstead's lab. Oh wait, no, it wasn't Falstead's laboratory. Who was it? Toldor's. Charged us with investigating Toldor's laboratory. There was some sort of incident in.
Toldor was a brilliant man. What happened?
Well, Uncle, he's dead.
That is a shame to hear.
It is.
Honestly.
We're not honest. We're not certain how, but we think that Falstead was involved. We found a tunnel leading from Toldor's laboratory down underneath Silvershore, and once we got down there, we found Falstead.
Was Falstead digging?
He was digging. Yes, he had a number of creations along with him that were assisting him in the task. And Uncle, something was wrong with him. His body was covered in runes.
Pale?
Yeah.
Covered in runes?
Yes.
White hair?
Yes. How?
Gibbering madly?
Uncle, what do you know of this?
We should talk. And he motions to Jeeves and motions back to Hilga and says, please, take care of her. She should only be a few hours before she can speak solidly again, but she needs to have this poultice for the next full day. Jeeves nods slowly and says, I understand, Master. Please go take care of your business. I'll make sure to take care to her. And again, with a flourish of a red coat, please join me. I will. We'll convene downstairs with some drinks because this might be a bit heavy to take care of. And comes, everybody walks back downstairs. Sparrow, have you? Oh, you did. Okay. So, what are you up to currently?
So, as I'm as I'm still lost in my thoughts, I kind of sip at the brandy, and I pull the black dagger out of my pack, and I'm kind of looking it over and trying not to remember the fact that I pulled it out of a pool of blood, and failing miserably, and it's starting to feel like there's.
So the fact that you
blood.
pulled it out of a pool of blood, and the fact that there is not a speck of blood on it, something that catches your eye.
Yeah. And it kind of starts triggering the urge to clean myself again, the need to scrub skin and everything like that. And she's just trying to deal and wrestle with that. Takes a bigger sip of the brandy than is probably necessary and starts hacking.
As Ephraim walks downstairs, he looks up and says, "Oh my, first time drinking, hey?"
She starts and drops the dagger and almost drops the bottle before she catches it.
The dagger hits point first. And he walks over with a kind smile and gently takes the bottle, a glass, and pours just a healthy measure into it and hands it back. You shouldn't take swallows from this one, my dear. This is very harsh. Proceeds to pour glasses for everybody and hands them out.
She kind of scoops up the dagger and just kind of stuffs it in her pack. Yeah. Sure.
Caps it and looks back down to her and says, really, honestly, if this is your first time, you should try probably something from the White Pear Orchard because it's a lot smoother on fresh palates, let's say.
Well, alcohol dulls the senses and I don't usually drink.
Sometimes that's a necessary evil, and proceeds to reach up and clink with Estbern, at least.
She seemed to be going into shock, Uncle. It seemed like a prudent course of action.
I agree.
I was not going into shock.
No, but Estbern thought you were.
No. She says that.
I'm sorry.
Her walls are back up, and she's very much being prickly.
My bad.
I was not going into shock. I just had a lot to think about.
Peace to everybody. We're going to have more than enough to conversate about that will direct much anger. So let's at least get over that one before we start squabbling. So he proceeds to sit down and motions you all to sit with it. even there's actually seems to be a chair for you, Samuel. There's a nice sturdy,
nice sturdy one.
A nice sturdy one nearby.
That's good.
Nice sturdy chair for you, sir.
Right.
Because he regularly entertains tieflings out of time.
I was more
Or
thinking the
people
fact
with
that he's
full
still
armor.
in armor.
Yeah.
He regularly entertains tieflings out of time that wear full armor.
That wear full armor, exactly.
Regular.
Sorry, just taking a quick sip here.
Nope, you're good.
Fresh my throat. So, Ephraim takes a moment, and the flourish and flamboyantness, the flamboyant, almost kind personality that he had, seems to slip down a little bit as he takes a moment to consider his brandy, and looks back up and finally says, "We found Gorth the Mad's journal."
Who the what now?
Exactly. So, Gorth the Mad, for anybody who knows anything. Actually, would anybody like to make me a history check?
Sure.
Yeah.
You mean that thing that I don't have, but I'll still try anyways?
Well, remember that you have your book. Sparrow, you have your book.
Oh, I do have my book.
Yep. Well, no, you have the ability of your book to call upon it once per day for a check.
Yes, I will call upon my book.
I slept through that lesson.
How old is
We
this
all
history?
slept through that
Because if it's from my time, shouldn't I get an advantage on it?
It's actually, you would only know about it from this time.
Okay.
Where's my book? Where's the book thing that I had?
It is the
Gonna make that argument every time we get a history check from now on.
Clever. I like
Gives expertise on any check once per day.
Okay.
you double your proficiency.
Remind me of what expertise does? I'm
Expertise
sorry.
is counts for 2 proficiency. So you'd get 4 technically, I believe, at your level.
Mhm.
So any check
Okay.
plus 4.
Okay. Wah.
There you go.
13 plus 4?
Yep.
Right? Okay, so 17. So I kind of grope around in the air for a minute.
Well,
And then-
actually, you place your hand down after he asked that question and feel the very familiar leather of your book.
That's convenient.
Mm-hmm.
How come you never show up when I, want you?
It's silent as usual. To your questions.
She's feeling a little warm in the cheeks right now.
Just a little bit.
Right.
All right.
Try not to...
So Estbern and Samael, you both. Estbern, you were kind of. You're right. You weren't super paying attention to these lessons because it's myth. It's legend. There's no point in it. Gorth the Mad is the rumored wizard who was in the tower in the Rose Sea. If I will actually pull you guys over here, Samael, you would know this as well since Tri Point's really close to it. But the Keeper's Island that's right here in the middle of the Rose Sea. You guys see it?
Yep.
Excellent. There's all types of myth and legend that surround that place, but all of them revolve around a mad wizard known as Gorth the Mad. He's believed to have lived longer than the Tieflings were even alive. At least that's, 200 years after the Tieflings fell, so nobody really knows where this myth started. Nobody has gone to Keeper's Island and returned, except for a few lost rowboats that have washed up in the Stonebark Forest and the Elderwood of people who were just stupid crazy. Gibbering to themselves, totally lost, vacant eyes, counting numbers with their fingers, trying to do ridiculous amounts of things. All at the same time, and none of them making sense. I'm trying to think here, sorry. There's all types of rumors that surround where he came from. Obviously, at this point, more people believe that he's a myth than a real person. Because nobody's seen him. Nobody's seen any traces of him. Sparrow and Estella. I'll go with Estella first. Estella, you know a lot more than that. This man is used as kind of a boogeyman for arcane users. Anybody who practices magic has the lesson beat into them of don't become Gorth the Mad. Don't let your pursuit of knowledge overtake everything about you. Because once you start pursuing with no moral regard, then you will fall. there will be nothing left. Sparrow, you start flipping through your book, and you actually start reading the tale of Gorth the Mad, which closely reflects Estella's knowledge, basically kind of bringing you up to speed on the legend. It's actually through a story of a pupil, his time with Lorness in the Lorness Arcane College, almost like a biography. And just kind of go through his perspective on the tale, what the professor was telling him. Like, there's no way that somebody could possibly do this, to possibly go mad with knowledge type stuff. But with Ephraim's revelation, you guys realize that all of those myths might not be a myth.
What do you mean you found his journal, Uncle? He's a children's story.
Most intelligent men thought the same. Except there was an excavation at a ruin inside of the Elder Wood. Actually, a close friend of mine was uncovering a ruined relic for one of the old gods for his apprenticeship, and he uncovered this journal, and it was filled with technical readouts and things that one could not possibly comprehend with only one sitting. There were certain sections written in multitudes of languages, sometimes changing from word to word. But the very little bit that was in common drove him to question his very existence. And
what does this have to do with what happened to Hilga?
What ended up happening was he brought it back. He managed to hang on to his sanity long enough to bring it back to the Artisans Guild. And we've been examining it since. The problem is that as people learn more, as we decipher its pictures, as we decipher its contents, it runs a risk of destroying the person with what's revealed inside of it. And we don't know how to cure it. There's no known cure, there's no known antidote. We don't know if it's simply that they themselves change or if it's a magic spell that's on it. We haven't been able to determine it. All we know is that the longer somebody works on it, the crazier they get. They simply go mad. Falstead was one of the people that was working on it. And he disappeared. We don't know what happened to him. So the fact that he went, I assume Toldor is dead.
Yes.
So he probably murdered Toldor and dug under his shop for some reason that would only make sense to him, and proceeded to try to find whatever he uncovered.
So who has the journal now?
It's firmly in the hands of the Artisans Guild.
Falstead mentioned he was trying to... He said he was going to bring her back. And then after we
killed him.
And after we killed him. And Estbern seems like kind of a little bit shocked at what he just said.
Right.
We kept exploring, and we found a cavern, a cave. I'm not really sure how you would describe it, but there was something inside, something not wholly mechanical, not wholly living. It was. Go ahead.
It was a church, and inside the church there was a creature that was mechanical, 4 arms up top and 4 legs, kind of like spiderish in length, except that the middle part was longer. Inside of the clear part was like a sarcophagus, but inside the clear part there was an animated skeleton.
And Ephraim kind of sits back at that one. The skeleton, you say?
Silver skeleton, and it spoke to us.
Huh.
I believe
Because-
Estella actually showed you the hand from it earlier.
So that was from, and he looks over at Estella. That was from what you fought then.
Yes.
He leans forward and places the cup onto one of the side tables, pushes some papers off with absolutely no care what happens to it, pushes it off and sets the glass down. So did it? What did it say? Did it attack you viciously? Did it wait? Was it prowling you? Like not to bring up.
Falstead kept rambling on about how she would rise. And when we were inside the church, I asked who she was. That seemed to activate it because the skeleton looked at us and said, "I will be your undoing."
Huh.
It spoke with a sonic wave. It was definitely female in nature. Oh, Samael.
Yeah.
I pull out the book that had like the viper and those couple of words that I could translate, not much else, and I hand it over to him. Can you read this?
I assume I can, right? Since it's
Oh yeah, it's an infernal.
Okay.
It is basically called the Viper's Tongue. And as you flip open and do you want to start reading it?
Yeah, I'll skim through it at least. Try to
Okay.
get a gist for what's inside of it.
I'm gonna need you to make me a wisdom check.
Like an unskilled wisdom check?
Wisdom save. My apologies.
There it is.
Okay.
There it is.
Oh, see, this is what I thought was gonna be with the dagger. I was wrong.
Ye old subversion.
And
Swear
it's-
to God, if I get you
Hey
killed,
look!
I'm just
Hey look! A
quitting.
shiny dagger. It must be
Don't
evil because it's in a
suppose-
pool of blood. No, it's knowledge that's the real evil, ladies and gentlemen.
Don't suppose I have
You know-
advantage on it, do I?
Nope.
You get inspiration.
You have
yes.
no idea what's going on with it, but you can. Yeah, you can inspiration to save if you would like.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Give yourself advantage.
If you die, you can just hop back in as Hilga.
I was gonna say.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Oh,
my
man.
God.
That's even with a save mod.
Yeah,
What?
yeah, with advantage. Okay, so
You know what
as
the
you
best- Sorry,
as
go
you
ahead.
start flipping through the pages, Samo, it's hard to stay focused on them because the pictures that they paint are so vivid in your imagination. You start flipping through the pages one by one, almost automatically, as your eyes follow the words, and basically it's a cadence. You feel like you're marching again, but there's purpose behind your stride. There's feeling. You're going towards something great. You know, especially back. It makes you feel like you're back in training. You know, you have that drive. You have that real purpose almost of being ready to take on something that's you don't feel like you can fail at. And as you start to visualize it in front of you, and you're marching toward Zenith itself, and at the top of it is a collection of these absolutely horrifying visages of people, all cowering towards you, and you feel like you're going to take these people on and you're going to take them down. And is anybody watching him by chance
yeah.
while
I
Ephraim
rolled
is
an
still
insight.
okay? It's
Actually, I'm gonna inspiration. Do that.
almost done. So as you notice that he starts flipping faster, his eyes are totally engrossed in what's going on in front of him, and one page after another, almost far too impossible for him to actually be reading. You notice that his eyes have stilled. They're no longer reading the words themselves, and he just continues flipping through the pages.
Samael.
He doesn't hear you.
Oh.
What's your AC, Sammy?
18. Well, I probably wouldn't be wielding the shield at this point, so it's 16.
Okay.
If you're gonna slap him in the face, then there is no AC check for that.
No, I was gonna like use my dagger to chuck it at the book and see if I could get the book out of his hands,
Okay.
or just pull the book. Actually, you know what? Instead of doing that,
Yeah, let's
instead
just pull the
of being
book out of the
unnecessarily
hands.
violent, she stands up and she yanks the book out of his hands.
Okay. Samael, you are currently experiencing the thrill of battle again, as the entirety of the army is cascading upward, almost as a human wave, up the side of Zenith. And you just as you're looking up to take in your banner, the army that you're marching with, it suddenly just stops, and you're staring up at the ceiling of Ephraim's house.
Damn.
You are now stunned.
Oh.
You guys notice that his eyes just kind of glaze over for a moment. So on that, I'm gonna have to end it.
Yeah. Okay.
The reason being is because my parents are here and they need a place to sleep, so I have to get off the phone.
Ah.
So
Uh-huh.
we will meet here soon, probably tomorrow, to kind of give the post wrap up. Talk about what happened, see what we can do moving forward. But for the moment,
what time are we meeting tomorrow?
Oh no, it's just informal. It's not.
Well, cause if we meet at like our normal time, I might be able to do something because the flight doesn't take off till 8.
We're not going to be meeting again in an official capacity. It's an informal.
Okay.
I'll talk to you guys one-on-one or as part of a group. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that going to be on voice or on Skype?
Probably
Just
Skype.
like. So
Just
yeah, so
talking
just
to
like
each other.
text chat.
Yeah, text chat. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, we can do
okay.
voice if you want to. I have all day tomorrow and Wednesday off, so I got no problems with it. But if it's just
Gotta
text,
hear
then-
the sultry sound of your voice.
I don't know about
Parents will
sultry.
be gone.
But yes, my
We're
parents
sorry.
will be gone then.
Hi, Sarge's parents. It's nice to meet you.
Everybody says hi.
Hi.
Except me, because I'm mean like that.
All right, guys. You have a good night. And again, we'll catch up tomorrow, right?
Yep.
Hey.
Night,
Are we?
everybody.
But Sarge,
What's up?
are we?
What?
Before you go, are we dinging?
Yes. Go ahead and ding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's ding?
Level up.
Leveled up.
Level up.
Oh,
Yeah, like
okay.
when you level up, ding.
Ding.
Oh,
You got it.
gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay.
you guys are all level 3 now. Congrats. All right, I'll talk
Oh
to you guys
shit!
later.
Now I
Right?
need a reason.
Yep. Take care, Sarge.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks, Sarge.